Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to be showing you how to identify the host element associated with each hosted element, extract its thickness and type mark, and eventually we're going to write these values to a shared parameter assigned to the hosted element. For installation purposes, sometimes we need to know certain element properties such as thickness and type. This process allows us to automatically retrieve that data. I'm going to be using a dynamo script and a short Python script for data management. I'm going to be using Revit 2026, and for the most part of the dynamo script, I'm going to be using out of the box nodes and a short Python node. So without further ado, let's jump in. I'm using my demo model here, and let me show you the parameter that I have assigned it to doors and windows. This is the parameter host wall type, and here it is for the window category. And what we are going to do is that to detect the wall type and its thickness, and combine these two values, and finally store it to the for example door element here. Now let's get started with Dynamo. First of all, we are going to gather all our elements. I'm going to search for categories, and let's set these to doors. All right, now we have the list of 25 doors here, and now let's search for family instance get host. All right, now we need to retrieve the parameters of that of those walls here. So first of all, because those are the element type, we are going to search for element.elementtype. And let's search for get parameter value by name. Actually, we need two of these. I'm gonna bring out a code block and write down the parameter name, which was width and type mark. Let's run the script. All right, it's a fairly straightforward script. Now let's search for set parameter by name node. We are going to store the combination of these values into our elements, which is doors, and the parameter is host wall type. I'm gonna use the same code block to wire this to parameter name. And now for the combination of the values, I'm gonna be using a code block and formulate this like my first input and concatenate this with the underscore, and I'm going to be using an string thickness, and I think I need to make a space here, then we will get this later. And with my second input, and I'm going to write centimeter because I'm using centimeter. Now let's see. First input is the wall type, and second one is the width. Now let's run. All right, we left off with the list of those combinations, but what we need to do is now to remove these zeros here because we don't need that in that parameter. So I'm going to be using a Python node to remove these zeros. So now let's start with the Python node. Even though if you convert this to a string from object, you get still those zeros. So let me bring out a Python node, edit it. It's a short Python node that will remove the trailing zeros from the number. First of all, we are going to write our inputs. All right, we are gonna have just one input, which is our numbers, float actually, and we're going to define a function that is named it clean. So I'm gonna write define clean, and I'm going to name it val. It takes just one value at a time. It's really important because you process elements individually, not the whole list at once. And of course we need colons here, and I'm going to be using try and except function for the safety, just to make sure if something fails like bad data nulls, it won't crash. So I'm going to say try and return. Let me start with the converting input to number. We say float, and I'm going to as an argument put here val, and now we are going to remove trailing zeros and unnecessary decimal points. So for that reason we are going to use a general placeholder. So I'm gonna say curly bracket, let me, all right, Collins G as general, and let's format it, and as an argument it takes the converted values to number. Now we say except none. That means that if you don't find any numbers, then return none. It won't crash. So now we need to actually define an empty list to store our values. So I'm going to say results, and here is our empty list, and we are going to loop through each element in values. So I'm going to say we for we in values, and in my result I'm going to add that values, append, I think it should work with the lowercase, and we're going to as an argument define our definition name. That applies clean and builds a new list. So as an output, we expect to have our list. So now let's save and run. So as you can see, whether we have a number or with decimal number, we remove the zeros. All right, so that should work. And let's save and close our list, and instead of the number we're going to wire those string from the number. Cool. And here is the our values to wire to the value input of this set parameter by name. And if we go and run the script and go back to Revit and select the door, as you can see, we stored those combination values inside the door. And let's try to select the wall, the host element. It is the it is a type mark W02 and 21.5 width. Yep. And let's go back to Dynamo, and that should work all the way for the window. So I'm going to copy and paste all the script here, and let me just freeze this one and search for Windows. Let me freeze first the final node and run the script. All right, let's unfreeze this and run it again. And let's search for a window here. All right, as you can see, we store that values inside the window type. And let's select the wall. It's 25 thickness and type mark W03 as we select the window here. All right, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and have a good day.